Now in this video I'm going to show you how I do the loop on the end of my signal whips. I've been asked to show this a few times now, so it's time to get around to it. Now I use number 8 turquoise satin black thread. It's a fairly thick sewing thread. They use it for saddlery or upholstery work. And what I do is cut out 4 pieces 6 feet long. That's 1. 2. I'll put this on the floor and make it easier. 3 and 4. So there's 4 pieces 6 foot long. Cut them off. And now what we'll do is twist these up as you would a cracker. When you're making a cracker for your whip, all I've got is a drill. This hook is made out of brazing rod, but you can make it out of a piece of wire, or you can have a cup hook. Or if you don't have a drill, you can twist this up by hand as you would a cracker. Now you don't have to go out the full length. I go out, where am I? About half the way, third of the way. Twist that up. You have to twist it up fairly well. Right, now run out to the end of it. Where am I? Run out to the end of it. Hang on to the end and go to the middle, and then bring your end around to here and just let it go. And it will twist it up on its, God, it'll twist up on itself like so. Okay? Tie a knot in it, and you're in business. Just once more, tie it onto your hook, about 2 foot. Twist it up really well. Take it back, grab the end, halfway, hang on to it there, and just let that drop, and you'll see how that's, where are we? You'll see how that's twisting itself up. Alright? It's exactly the same thing you would do if you were making a cracker for your whip. Now I'll just do the rest of these, then I'll cut the strands out for the whip, and I'll show you how I start this, because when I do a signal whip, because I've got a little loop on the end, a braided loop on the end made out of this nylon stuff, I plait all my signal whips from the tail end first. I'll show you how that goes and how these bits are incorporated into it so that they just blend in nicely. Right, now I'm ready to plait these bits of nylon up. But before I do that, what I like to do is to cover them in wax. Just ordinary beeswax. You should be able to pick up a block of that. Oh, I don't know, somewhere. Possibly where they make candles. I get mine from the local beekeeper, so if you've got a beekeeper handy, he'll have some. And all I do is wax these so that they don't sort of come apart when I'm plaiting them. Just rub them like that. I'll do that all the way down. Right to the very end of it now. Once they're well waxed, I'll just start the plaiting process. You can see that there. Oop. They're all nicely waxed. Right, now we're ready to plait these up, and I've realised that I made a mistake before. I said 4, and really it should be just 3. Okay, so we'll end up with a 6 plait. This is a little cup hook that I like to plait on for this, because you want to leave that, you want to make that loop at the end of your signal whip as small as possible, so it doesn't interfere with the aerodynamics of the whip. Right, 2 middle strands, cross them over. Take the strand from this side, go over, under and over the middle. Right. Take the strand from this side, go under, over, no, you go over, sorry, over, under and over, middle. Right, this is the start of your under one over one plait, or over one under one plait. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. And I'll see if I can get a bit closer. Without buggering up the focus. Over, under and over the middle strand. Back one, over, under and over the middle strand. Now this might be a little bit fiddly. Persevere with it. You'll be happy with the results once the whole whip is finished. And it gives you a replaceable cracker on a signal whip. Normally in the old style signal whips, the crackers were plaited into the whip itself at the end, so that once you wore that cracker out, you had to go and get it retailed by a whip maker, or if you're lucky enough to be able to do it yourself, you can do it yourself. This way all you do is just replace the cracker. Okay, now just make sure that they are very tight. Now I'll just go on and plait about another inch of this, and then we'll start to introduce the strands for the whip. Right, now we've plaited about 2 inches of this, and now we'll start to introduce the strands. This whip is going to be 4 feet long and 24 plait. So that means 24 strands. Now what I do is, the strands here are 3.3 millimeters wide, and they're tapered down a little bit in the last 6 inches here, just because I'm at the start of the whip. Now you see I've cut that off there to a fine point. What I'll do is just slip that in there like that, and leave that little bit sticking out for the time being, and just plait over it. Again, over one, under one, over one. Now what we'll do in a minute is drop one of these nylon strands into the centre, and what's happened here? I've gone wrong here. No, that's right. Into the centre, and take out the leather strand, and we'll do that until the whole 6 are done. I think I'm going a little bit nuts here. Make sure you pull these up very tight. Now I've got that out over that far enough. What I'll do is just gently pull that up until it's gone into the centre. Under 1 over 2, under 2 over 1, under 1 over 2, under 2 over 1. Now I've got the the leather strand now. Just be careful here, because if you pull too hard you're going to pull it out, so just lay it in there. Right, and now we'll introduce the next leather strand, which I will cut to a point. Again, just leave that bit sticking out there. Here's the leather strand that we put in. Just be a bit careful with that, just for the time being. Pull up snug, but not too snug, otherwise you will pull it out. After this round, everything should be okay. And so by doing it this way, you can't tell, you can, but you can't, it's very hard to tell where the nylon strands end and the leather begins. Now we'll just pull this up snug again. You can see how tight that is. Just be careful you don't pull it out. If you do, you'll have to undo your plaiting again and do it again. And this time we'll bring the leather strand in on the opposite side to this one. And look, we've got to a stage now where I can just take that off there. Take that hook out and put the whip into the vise. Just keep on going with this. Like I say, under 1/2 on that side and under 2/1 on that side. Now some people like to do under 1/2 on this side and under 2/1 on the other side. I prefer the way I'm doing it. Now now's the time to bring this one in. And pull that one up tight. And just continue. This first part's fairly fiddly, but once you get all your strands in, then you introduce your belly and you're in business. Put another strand in. Just give it a nice taper on it. The music you can hear in the background is by a band called The Shadows. Anyone over 55 would most probably remember them. Anyone under that, well, I doubt it. Again, under 1/2, under 2/1. Just pull that up snug. bring a bit of pressure to bear on these now, on these leather strands. Just be careful when you pull the last one that you put in. Now we'll introduce another strand. As I said before, this whip will be 24 plait, 4 feet long, and the strands, well, the first 8 I've made 7 feet long. 6 foot should do the trick, but I like to be safe. Nothing worse than getting to the end of your whip and finding out you're 3 inches short on your strands. It can be a real pain. Again, we'll pull this one up. We'll bring this one in from the centre, under 2 over 1, drop that one in. Pull this up snug. Oh, there we go, broken strand. Bugger. Alright, we'll have to undo this now. I'll be back shortly. Right, we're back to where we started. Just all I did was undo the plaiting until we got back to where that was introduced. Luckily it was the last one that was introduced, so I didn't have to go back too far. Take it back in and plait over it again. We've got to a point now. I had three leather strips on one side and only one on the other. I want to try and keep it even if we can. This first bit of plaiting, as I've got it in the vise here, you don't have to worry too much about it flattening out, because that will just roll out anyway when we roll the whip. Just get a pair of pliers. Right, now I'll just pull these up here very tight. Now the belly. We'll start that off. Now the belly consists of a shot bag that's 28 inches long. You know, pan out a bit. This is the belly here. What you see here is binding on the belly, and that just gives me that little bit of stiffness and a bit more control in a signal whip. A signal whip's exactly like a snake whip, only it hasn't got a fall, so you don't have a handle in it. So they can be a bit hard to control once they loosen up. So I like to put this bit of binding on just to make it a bit stiff in the handle part. That's it. It's a 12 plat. It's like I said, it's a shot bag, a bolster, a full bolster over that, and then over that is a 12 plat belly coming down to a point here. It's plaited to here, and this is 40 inches long, so that I've got about, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches in there. So by the time we get to the end of the whip, it'll be 4 feet long. If it's a little bit longer, it won't matter. We introduce the belly the same way as we do the strands. Poke it in there. Like so. Well, I think this, personally, I think this is a great way to plait with your ordinary whips as well, because you can join your strands in, and unless you sort of look to see where it suddenly changes from 6 to 8, you can't tell where the strands have been put in. Now this way, instead of dropping them, you're putting them in. What I'll show you in a minute is how we go from 6 plat to 8 plat. Well, I'll do that all the way up, just so you've got an idea. Pull this nice and tight. Okay. Now I'll just put 2 strands in. I'll put 2 strands in at a time. So we're actually plaiting the whip now. Bit of leather dressing. Not too much, otherwise it'll be too slippery. Plat, from an uneven plat, 6 plat to 8 plat, they are totally different methods. I'll just pull those up snug. Right, now I'll bring these other 2 in. I'll just zoom in a bit. And that's another thing you want to do, is don't go plaiting too far before you pull your strands out, otherwise you'll get in an unholy mess. Plaiting this way in a vise too is a good way, because it keeps your plaiting nice and straight. When you plait off a hook, you tend to get twists in your plaiting if you're not careful, and it starts to spiral around and around your whip. Now, to go from 6 plat to 8 plat, we've gone to here, under 2 over 2. Now what I do is bring 1 strand in and put it over there like that. Bring the other strand from underneath and put it over there like that. Right, now this is the way it goes. This is sequence. This was the last strand we brought over. On this side we've got under 1 over 2. So we'll bring that underneath the whole lot. Bring the one out of the centre, underneath the whole lot. But this one here, we bring out so it's under 2 and over 2. Right. Then there's under 2, over 2, and under 2, over 2, and there'll be no discernible change in the pattern apart from going from under 1 over 2, over 2, under 1, under 2 over 1 to under 2 over 2. If it's nice and confused now, Because normally if you do it the way that most people do it, what you get is two strands together without them being split, which doesn't look very good. Okay. Now what I'll do is cut off two more strands, and the way I measure those is to take a measurement from there to the end of the shortest strand I've got in here, because some are going to be longer and some are going to be shorter. Right? And I might cut off 4, I think, because we'll be introducing these strands fairly quickly. And look, if you're going to be a miser about leather, to the point of distraction, you may as well not get into this game. I found over the years that it just doesn't pay to be too miserly, and any short strands that you do have left over, well, you can always use those for bellies or knots or those sort of things. They never go to waste. You can make little wristbands out of them. All sorts of things. We'll just introduce these two strands. I'll plait over these and come back when I'm going to put them into the whip. Okay. Now, according to Murphy's Law, it just happened. I thought I was recording going from 6 to 8, but apparently I wasn't. So what I'll do now, I've got to the stage where I'm going to go from 8 till 10. I'll show you that. And then, when I go from 10 to 12, I'll show you that, which is exactly the same as 6 to 8. Now the last strand here, I've got the two strands in here. They've been plaited over, and I'll just go in a little bit closer. Where are we? Right. So what we're aiming for is under 2 over 3 on this side, and under 3 and over 2 on this side. Now you might ask why that is. If I just went under 3 and over 2 and under 3 and over 2 on both these sides, you'd get a fairly uneven plait. When you do it the way I'm going to do it, you get a nice even plait. Okay, so going from 8 to 10. This is the strand that we last worked, under 2 over 2. Take a strand out of the middle and put it just there. Take this strand out of the middle and you go under 2 and over 3. And now on this side you've got under 3 and over 2 with no discernible transition. Yeah, under 2 over 3, under 3 over 2. Okay. Now I'll just introduce two more strands, which I've got here somewhere. All I have to do is find them. There they are. and I'll plait on until we get to the stage where I'm going to put these two strands into the whip, going from 10 to 12, and then I'll show you how that's done. Right, now we're at a stage now where we can go from 10 to 12. And under 3, under 2 and over 3 on this side, under 3 and over 2 on this side. This was the last strand worked. Oh no, hang on. This is the last strand worked. Okay. So what we'll do is bring that over to there, underneath the whole lot. Right? And this one here, under 3 and over 3. And then this is the next one to be worked. Comes in under there, under 3 over 3. So now we've got a 12 plait. Just make sure you keep that in line there. Go, under 3 over 3. And that's a 12 plait. And that's how it's done. Now I won't keep repeating this. The sequences for the rest are just the same as this. And they change from 12 to 14, 14 to 16, etc, etc. Now look, don't get frustrated with this. Practice. A lot of people I get emails from tend to want to run before they can walk. Baby steps to the go. Practice with paracord. It's relatively cheap. It's an even width. You don't have to cut your own leather. Practice plaiting with that. These sequences that I've worked out here were worked out a long time before the internet came in, and were worked out by myself. Nobody would help at that time, and look, very few people will help now. I'm getting to the stage now where I'm 65, and I don't know how many more years I've got, but the years that I have got, I will try and put as much as I can on the internet to get as much information out there as I can, so that this is just not a dying art that a few people, you know how to do, and it'll die out with them. So there we go. Like I say, practice, practice, practice. Don't try to run before you can walk. I get a lot of emails from people saying, how do you make a whip? Well, and they expect me to explain it just in one email. Sorry, can't be done. If you go to my site, there's a page on there called tutorials. You'll find a tutorial on how to make a bull whip, and how to make a snake whip, how to make your own crackers, how to tie on a new fall, plus all the videos I've got on YouTube. Plus, if you're really keen, I have a set of 3 DVDs that take you through the whole process of making a bull whip. All you have to do is go to my website and click on DVDs. So I hope this has helped. The next one will be on how to, I've been asked to do a little video on how to repair a broken strand when you're plaiting. Very simple, and I'll do that for you next. So like I say, have fun with this. If you get frustrated doing this, you know, it's not for you. You might as well just give it up. This is something that should be enjoyable, and something that should be enjoyable while you're learning it, even through all the troubles you'll run into. It can get frustrating at times, but persevere. Good luck with it. See you soon. Right, now just a quick PS to this video. This is the finished whip. I don't know how clear that is. You can see there the handle, the finished article, right down to the cracker. So there we go. All done. A little bit so that they fit nice.